Hey guys, welcome to another video today. It's been quite a long time, I haven't made any. So today, as you guys already have seen on the title, I want to talk about the resume writing. I get a lot of questions, fortunately, from many people. So I would like to make a video on this. Again, this is my personal take on it. One thing I always believe about the resume that there is no right or wrong, and there is no standard format of resume. It depends on the country, depends on the the location you're in right now, depends on the industry, depends on your own profession actually, right? In some profession you might just need a 3-page resume. In some cases you might need to add your portfolio and other information with your resume, so not just resume will be enough for you. So it depends on many factors, right? So my take is, I'm a finance professional, so, and I have seen people around me into different professions as well. So I'm just gonna give you guys a general overview. That's a disclaimer, okay? And then you can take it and apply into your situation, okay? So I'm gonna be categorizing this into into about 8 or 9 different sections. So I'm actually looking into my notebook so that I don't miss anything. So part number 1, which is your contact details. I understand that not many people talk about the contact details, which is literally in the very top of the resume. You say the resume of so on and so. So in my case, resume of Yasir Aarafat. Okay, it is important to make sure that you actually address that part very carefully. So what comes next? Next comes your address, so where you are actually. So make sure your address is nice and clean. In some cases you don't actually have to write the name of your building. I have seen in some cases you don't have to write down the name of your condominium, as long as you have your address, your state, your province, or your division in some countries, that, and your obviously your city, and your country, okay, and your postal code. In some cases it's also very important, so you have that very nice formal way to write your address, okay. Second of all is your email address. So your email address needs to be nice. So please, this is a very I guess a debatable topic, that can I use my personal email address. Obviously, of course you can, but make sure email address is somewhat formal, okay. Whether it's your name, like in my case it's yasir.arafat at gmail.com, or yasirarafat@gmail.com, or whatever it is, somewhat formal, right? Do not write, do not have a email address says tomato ketchup at yahoo.com, okay. This is definitely not, it's not going to be a deal breaker, but some people might not like it, so that's gonna give them a very bad impression of your resume there for yourself from the very beginning. So make sure to have a nice email address. These days you can even go and in Gmail you can open up a Gmail account less than 5 minutes probably. So please do that. Use either Gmail or Outlook. My recommendation, try to avoid Yahoo or AOL or Hotmail or any other funny and email address, email domain, okay. So that's one thing. And also your name, please make sure you have your name in the email account, okay. It's much better to have your name on it, okay. If you cannot find your name, if your name is super common, just make sure you have some sort of number or something. Do not go absolutely crazy, okay, with your email address. So that's another thing. Second of all, write your phone number nicely, okay. So make sure you have your country code. Make sure you have your phone number nicely, okay. Try to have your space, so 3 digits and then a space and 3 digits and a space and 4 digits, whatever it is, right? What's the standard? Go to any corporate website and see how they write their phone number. It's better. All these little things actually sometimes actually gets counted, so just be careful. And also your designation for your name, right? So if you're a CPA, so write, say in my case, as I'm a CPA, so I would write Yasir Aarafat CPA, okay. But I have some other designations as well. Now, in some cases, you don't have to write every single designation that you have that becomes 2 lines, okay. CPA, CA, CFA, PMP, CFP, comma, whatever it is, the whole thing. You don't have to go through at that extent. Okay, that makes people confused. Only use the ones actually people know about it. Okay, so if you have a CA or CPA or any global professional qualification which gives you a designation, make sure that you write in the bracket, if you're not applying into that country, make sure you write in a bracket which country it's from. So say I'm actually CPA from Australia, right? But I live in Canada. So on my resume, I need to make sure that I write CPA in a bracket. I need to say AUS or AU, okay, or Australia. So people know, okay, this person has a CPA, but not from Canada, not from America, but from Australia. If I were to stay in Australia, then I would not need to write this, because people would know that this person is actually from CPA Australia and applying for a job within Australia. So that's a one tip for you. Okay, otherwise people might get confused because you have CPA in Australia, you have CPA in America, you have CPA in Canada. Second category is your key skills. Okay, so you need to make sure you write your key skills. Now, in the key skills, do not write, again, if you're a beginner, if you're just entering into the job market, you might need to write that you have a good time management skill, you have good organization skill, you have good communication skill and things like that. But as you, I guess, move further in your career, you don't need to write those, because those mean nothing. Technically, those mean nothing, because people then expect that you already have those attributes within yourself. So then you need to write, I'm just going to look into my notes in here. For an example, if you're from the finance background, accounting background, you need to make sure you need to write, the full cycle accounting, okay? The P&L and the balance sheet management, okay? You understand the balance sheet reconciliation. You have dealt with process improvement. You have dealt with commercial and operational finance, whatever it is. So you need to make sure you identify your key skills and you write them nicely. Don't just write 2 words or 1 word. You can also write about your people management skill, right? You have done hiring, you have done performance management, you have done cross-departmental leadership, things like that. You can also write, I'm talking from the finance point of view, you can also write understanding of GAAP, IFRS, and if you have international working experience, you can also write that. If you have been exposed to forex exchange, you can write that as well. So all of these key skills you can mention there nicely, neat and clean. Then you can write about technical skill, which is the third segment. Technical skills, literally, your exposure to softwares and systems, mainly. I hope that this will also be relevant to if you're from engineering background, if you're from mathematics background, if you're from computer science background, and obviously the finance background as well, right? So what you can mention, I'm just going to mention from the finance point of view. So technical skill, and then you can mention ERP. So what are the ERP systems you have used? SAP, Oracle, JDE, okay, Dynamics, whatever it is. Then you can go into the BI or analytics softwares and systems, which are Power BI, your Tableau, things like that. And then you can go into your programming language, which is, which are your Python, your Visual Basic, etc., etc. Moving on to segment number 4, which is your professional experience. So now this is the fun part, okay? Now, I have seen many versions of this professional experience section, okay? The one that I really like and I sort of recommend to everybody, and I normally use and used before, which is each of those roles that you have done, make sure the first component is the company itself. So go to Wikipedia, at least 2 lines, or even the company website. Go to About Us, get the 2 line, okay, 2 line or 3 lines, 2 lines or 3 lines from that About Us page or the Wikipedia page, and make sure you write it, because not necessarily everybody will actually know your company, okay, unless it's Apple and Google, Microsoft and things like that. So just make sure you write 2 lines. In a smaller font, just make sure you write 2 lines so people can understand, okay, this person is respecting us, that we don't have to go and Google that, or find out that this person is from company X, but company X does what. So he's explaining in here nicely. Okay, so make sure you have 2 lines or 3 lines about your company itself. Next comes the title, the designation, or the position or the role that you had, and the duration. Okay, so you were a finance manager, engineering manager, software engineer, or software product manager, project manager, whatever it is. So write the title and have the duration. Okay, you don't have to write the date, as long as you can sort of write the month and the year, to the month and the year. That's good enough. Nobody would be asking you for the date, so you don't have to worry about that. Then there are two segments which are very important, and I've seen some good examples and also some not so good examples. Okay, you need to make sure you write not just the copying and pasting from the job description that you received or you have from the before you even applied for the role. Okay, you need to make sure that you have two components in here. One is your responsibilities, so what are the things you have done on a day-to-day basis or on an ad hoc basis or a project basis. And last component, which is very vital and very important, and I always sort of focus on that piece, is your key achievement. So you stayed in that role for about a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and you have already mentioned your roles, your responsibilities. Okay, what are the things you did, but what are the things you have achieved so far in that role? Make sure you write at least 2 or 3 points under key achievements, and make sure you quantify that. Do not write that I have completed budget and I have done forecasting. These are not key achievements. Key achievements that I did X, because of that X that impacted Y in such a way that resulted Z to go down by 5%. Okay, try to make sure you sort of quantify it. That's my whole message in here. At least 2 or 3. It can be from the process improvement point of view. It can be some financial impact. It can be from time impact, that you have done something that reduced the time, or you have done something that increased the customer satisfaction. Then we come to segment number 5, which is your educational background. So in here, you should only keep your undergrad, your postgrad if you have any, which is your master's, and if you have any PhD degree, then you just need to make sure you write these few items, including obviously if you have any graduate certificate or graduate diploma. You don't need to write anything related to your high school, or even in some cases you don't even need to write if you have any diploma degrees or advanced diploma degree prior to your undergrad. So start from undergrad. Again, if you're early stage of your career, then make sure if you think that's relevant, you can mention about your diploma and your advanced diploma, and then you can show them that you have done your undergrad and so on and so forth. Next segment is your professional qualification. So now we will be talking about if you have your CA or your CPA, your CFA, your any other professional qualification that are worldwide recognized, or even regionally recognized, but not formal university degree or qualification. Okay, so that's, you can sort of mention into that section. In some cases, you might be able to write your other certificate or other courses that you have done online or even offline, face to face. Especially these days we do courses on Coursera, edX, places like that. So if you have some, you can write them, but do not go overboard with that. Do not write 20 items that you have done. Okay, just make sure you have, if you really want to have those, make sure you only have the relevant ones, and it's definitely not more than 2 to 3, because you don't have to write them every single thing. Okay, so you can write that without any problem. The segment number 7, which is your pro bono or any volunteering experience if you have. Again, it depends on the level of your career, where you are right now. Now the last segment, which is your interest. Okay, so this is segment number 8. So this is the last segment. If you are not somebody who is at the early stage of the career, somewhat senior, mid-career level, you have some experience already in your bag, so for you this should be the last one, which is interest. This is not very important, but I found it gives people a sort of a good understanding of about the personality of yourself. Okay, so if you write, okay, I love to watch sports, I love to hike, I like to travel. If you really want to add something there in that section, make sure that sort of, portray and reflect your personality, into that whole picture. Otherwise, if you don't want to add that, that's absolutely fine. You can obviously, once you go to the next stage, then you can sort of explain, sort of informally that, what are the things you like in your life. So that's that. So now it's the segment 9, which is the last segment. This is only for if you're in the early stage of your career. Okay, if you don't have any experience, you're just going into into the market, you're just getting into the workforce first time, you freshly graduated from the university. So you can mention two things. I would sort of recommend, if you have done any project at your university, obviously. And what are those projects, and what was your role in that project? Were you the team leader? Were you the individual contributor? So if you mention that, again, you don't have to mention every single project that you worked on. Maybe the final project that you guys you worked on. Maybe mention that, the size of the team and your role in the team. Also, you can mention that as well. And another thing, you can mention the extracurricular activities. Okay, what are the other things you have done beside your regular study, regular education? So were you part of the debate club, or the science club, or the finance club, or the entrepreneur club, and whatever it is? And who were you? What was your role there? If you have done anything significant, you can mention those items as well, so that sort of gives people another angle to look into you, about your who you are as a workmate. Who would you be as a leader? Who would you be as a team partner? These are the 8, as I said in the beginning, 8 or 9 segments depending on your stage of your career. You can sort of mention page wise. Again, I know this is a very common question. There's no satisfactory answer. To me, I think 3 page, again, depends. If you don't have anything, of course, you're going to be able to finish in 1.5 page, probably. If you're in, the standard is, like I said, the standard is probably 3 pages. Again, there is no right or wrong. It depends on your actual career, who you are. But in general, if you're from the finance background, from engineering, IT, the operation, sales, strategy, consulting, then you probably be able to just complete it within 3 pages. That should be more than enough to give people a very good understanding. And again, make sure that you don't have any spelling mistake, you don't have any grammatical error. Okay, you don't have any crazy font and colorful formats going on. Just make sure it's nice, neat, and clean. Reference, I know this is another common thing as well. Should I add referees in the end of the resume or not? Again, if you are from somewhere that requires, that's the standard of that country, or that that geographic location, that you have to add referee, then you have to add referee. In some countries, they require you to add a photo on the top, then you have to add the photo. You cannot take my advice in here, do not add photos. In some cases, people, some countries or some companies, they want you to sign in the bottom of the resume. Then you have to do that. So you need to understand where you are right now and what are the norms there. So you need to make sure you fulfill that. And one very last point I would like to mention is that if you have somebody to proofread your resume, maybe it's a good idea to do that, so that you just make sure that you have another set of eyes checked your resume and there's no spelling mistakes or things like that. So that's it for now. I hope this video will give you a pretty good understanding and some points to take away and implement in your resume writing. If you already have a resume, maybe it's a time to go back and sort of review and make some tweaks. So that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. And if you guys have any questions, especially if you guys want to add any other valid points which would be relevant to this topic, then please feel free to drop down in the comment section so that other people can learn from it and get benefited. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, stay safe and stay well. Thank you.